Shalom. I'm Kaya from GMS Camp here in Phoenix, Arizona. First, I want to say is all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rahah Hadash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and elders that have taught us this truth. According to 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17, we're giving them brothers double honors. I want to say shalom to the Akwath and the Akim that are listening today. You know, we've been over this before, and we're going to go over it again because a lot of people still have this narrative of not knowing who they are. What we're going to go into is the title is From the Root to the Gentiles, Who Are All Israelites. That's what we're going to go into. You know, today we still have our people talking about we black, we Negro, we African Americans, we all these bywords, and have forgotten what the Bible has called us. Has forgotten that we went into slavery. We went into the scattering. So we're going to go from the book of Exodus and down into Romans and into Matthew to prove who we are. Now, even though some of us are who we are, there are something called a 2/3, those that will not listen, those that will not hearken to the Lord, and we'll get to that. But let's first start off with Exodus chapter 6, verse 5 and 6, and let's see what this says. This is Exodus chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. And it says, "And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant." Okay. "Wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burden of Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with a great judgment." So as we see here, this is Yahweh letting us know that, hey, I'm going to get you up out of there. The same way as it is now. His people are back in bondage. Babylon, aka America. Let's move on further with this. That's the first scripture to let you know who we are. What happened first? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 44 and 45, and let's see what that says. That's Deuteronomy chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse 44 and 45. And it says, okay, here we go. "And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel." The law was only made for who? The Israelites. That was it. No other people. Now you got to remember, there were other nations around. It wasn't just the Egyptians. There were all other nations that were around the world that were different places. You know? So let's move on further with this. "These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt." Now, with that being said, most of y'all have read or heard the 10 Commandments, which was more than that, but we'll just let that go for now. You know, everybody heard, seen the movie Moses, or with I can't think of his name right now, Charles Helston or whatever, and the 10 Commandments, and he let my people go. I'm sure y'all all remember that. Those were Israelites. Not those people, but nevertheless, it was Israelites according to the Bible that were letting out of Egypt. So they get out, right? So let's move further with this. Once they get out, what happens? We're gonna fast forward it. The laws come. We'll say the 10 Commandments, which is more than that. Come. Moses comes and he brings the commandments to them. Who were they given to? They were only given to who? Israel, Israelites, Yasharallah, no other nation. Let's go on even further. Matter of fact, to even prove that, let's go to Amos chapter 3, verse 1 and 2, and let's see what that says. All these scriptures are proving who you are. If you're not Edom, that's Amos chapter 3, verse 1 and 2. And the other nations, the heathens. And it says, this is Amos chapter 3, verse 1 and 2. And listen to this. "Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only. Stop right there. What does it say, verse 2? You only. Now let's go further with this. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. He just told you, out of all the families on the earth, I've only known you. So that debunks that John 3:16 is for everybody to be saved. Who did he know? He only knew who? Israel. Who was the commandments given to? Israel. You got to remember this. Remember, this is part of the root. This is not the branches yet. This is part of the root. So now let's go on even further with this. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 15, and let's see what that says. That's Ezekiel 22:15. And it says, Salakia. Ezekiel 22:15. And it says, and I will scatter thee among the heathen and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee. So what does this mean? Dispersed means you were scattered. You were pushed out amongst the heathen, amongst other nations is what happened. You know, now, of course, we know Jake's when we pushed into other nations, what ended up happening? Let's be grown for a minute. We end up having sex with the other nation of the women. That's why you get this saying called a speckled bird, meaning that what? Means your father is an Israelite and your mother could be a heathen. Meaning what? Also, you can take the traits or the look of your mother. Let's just say Moab, who are your Chinese, right? When you're Japanese or you're Chinese and whatnot, right? Let's just say you sleep with a Moabite woman, a Jake, chocolate man like me, so-called. Now, you know, I sleep with her. We have a kid. That kid comes out looking like her mother. Does that child steal my blood? Yes. Would he still be an Israelite? Yes. But he looks like what? His mother. He looks like the rest of the Moabites. But guess what? He's still an Israelite through his blood, through his heritage. You know? So that's when you hear someone say the speckled bird. You know, those that may not know are those that look like the enemy or look like the heathen that are Israelites. Because why? We were scattered amongst the nation. So as I said earlier, we know that Jake had children. So did Issachar. So did all the other Israelites that was scattered. You know? So let's move on further with this. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64 and 65. And let's see what that says. All this is to prove who we are as a people. Because you've been lied to in them church. In them churches, they've been telling you some bull crap. They don't even tell you who you are. Matter of fact, they keep the narrative that you're Hispanic. They keep the narrative that you an African American. Why do they do so? No one ever asked that question. They ain't telling you no truth. Truth is right here in this book. Been here all this time. You just been duped, giving up your money. Get that collection plate floating around. All right, Deuteronomy 28, verse 64 and 65. And let's see what it says. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind. What was he telling you? Basically, you're going to be somewhere you didn't want to be. Number one. Number two, you're going to be serving false gods. And you're going to be sorrowful. You know, you're going to be in a lower state. Welcome. That's what we at. That's why you got to go to work. That's why you got to deal with bullshit. That's why you think, oh, my life's going on, and all of a sudden, bam, something happens. You know? You under them curses. If you're Yasharala, you know. Let's move on further with this. Matter of fact, let's go into Romans chapter 11, verse 11 through 27. And let's see what that says. And this is Paul. Let's see what this says. Let's see what Paul's talking about. You know? Let me see what was that. Romans chapter 11. Verse 11 through 27. And listen to this. It's a lot of reading here. Okay, here we go. That's Romans 11, verse 11 through 27. Hopefully I have enough time. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles. Now we're going to go into who the Gentiles is, because I'm telling you. For to provoke them to jealousy. Now if the fall of them be the richness of the world, don't get caught up on that word world, we're going to get to that too, and the diminishing of them that riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles. I am magnifying my office, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but left from the dead? For if the first fruits be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. Well, so lock it for a minute. I'm going to have to come back because I'm running out of time. We'll start from verse 17 on the way back, Lord willing.